I'm Shannon Exum, co-founder of Team COVID Long Haulers. Find out how my family survived a near tragedy caused by COVID, how we're handling the ups and downs, and how we're learning to thrive in new ways with long COVID. Be sure to visit our website at teamcovidlonghaulers.org.
I think the word pandemic has lost some of its meaning because we've just been in it for so long. But again, it's something that's killing hundreds of thousands, millions of people worldwide. So anyways, yeah, I was literally stuck in a hotel room.
But we still didn't realize.
Well, no, we still didn't realize how bad I would end up being. I mean, I knew that I was not getting any better, and I knew that I was on a daily basis feeling worse, and I didn't know if I was going to be hospitalized. But what I did know that I was done working there. I knew that I wouldn't be able to spring back in a week and continue working there, and I wanted to be home in the event that I would have to. Well, I wanted to be home for.
Just want to come home.
Come home because it's like, why stay in the hotel room for 2 or 3 weeks when I can come home, quarantine, do the same exact thing, and I've got support here, and that's what we decided to do.
And that's what we did.
Yep.
So I flew to Amarillo.
Yep, you flew to Amarillo, and this was at a time where they they recommended only fly unless you absolutely had to. Mm-hmm. And so, you absolutely had to. Mm-hmm. So you flew out there, arrived one evening, and I know that when we're talking about this, you've told people I was sick because I didn't even get off the bed to greet you or anything, that you knew I was sick.
Oh, yeah.
And so the plan was, hey, we're going to call tomorrow morning, rental car, and drive all the way back. Well, Amarillo, Texas to Knoxville, Tennessee is 18 hours.
Well, we thought we were going to stop and spend the night, is what we thought. But I got you a pillow and I got you a comforter.
We kind of played it by ear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing we had planned.
We had planned on stopping, though, because I was going to have to drive the whole way, and that's a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never driven that far, blah, blah, blah. And so, honestly, Travis, I don't even know if I've told you this, but when we got closer, about the halfway point, I thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to get him out of this car. And because you weren't going to the bathroom, you weren't eating, you were barely drinking to get your medicine down. So I was thinking, how am I going to get him out of this car? Second of all, I don't think I can get him in a hotel room because you had COVID. You were positive. So I had no choice but just to keep going. But honestly, it was a real fear that I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to get you out of the car and then back in. And we would be stuck somewhere in the middle of nowhere. That's why I didn't stop.
Yeah, and a lot of that time, I can remember some things, but a lot of the specifics and stuff.
You don't remember the drive back. We were both double masked, windows down.
No, not really. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Not really. I remember stopping once or twice for you to get something to eat. I can't remember if I ate or not. No, I don't remember.
First came in, I had mentioned, gosh, Travis, you look so tired, and we just chalked it up to you were working 6 days a week in a row.
Yeah, it was on 6 days.
12, 13-hour days.
Off one, and the reality is that your one off day, you just try to wash your scrubs, maybe go get something in the grocery store if you could. And I think people don't realize is in hospital, most workers work 12-hour days. Now, you look on the schedule, it says 7 to 7, 12 hours, but I've never worked a 12-hour shift in my life. You get going a little bit before 7 o'clock. You're there to usually 7:15, 7:30, so those 12-hour days turn into 13-hour days, and then you times that by 6, so just do the math, 6 times 13, and that's almost 80 hours a week in a pandemic, in about a stressful situation. Definitely it does, time consuming. Somebody calls and says, hey, look, I can't reach my phone. It takes 2 or 3 minutes to completely gown up just to walk in there and just hand somebody the phone. You do that, again, you got 6 patients. It's hard as a nurse to find a break during the day, but you're in a pandemic, you're literally doing it your whole time you were there, and so it is time consuming, but it's also mentally kind of gets rough after a while. Having to do things that is absolutely necessary, but nothing we've ever taught or been through, and it's the mental fatigue is real. You want to talk about me getting sick?
Yes.
Okay. Who want you want to ask a question? Or?
Why are we kind of stalling is the thing. We're stalling because I guess for the past year, and up until now, we've been in survival mode, fight or flight mode, and I haven't been able to hear it. I just haven't.
I've told my illness story countless times. You've heard it. You can tell it just like I can. I've told the story of my illness up until the point of dropping me off the ER, because it's kind of a joke now. I could barely talk when I went to the office to see her.
That's right.
Because I couldn't breathe. I was still on 4 to 5 liters of oxygen. And she saw me, and I had just seen her a few months before that for a checkup or something like that. And I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I think it was probably, I don't know if we use the word shocking, but
I'm going to say sobering.
When I could just see that she was like, holy cow. And I don't know how many people at that point she had seen that was as sick as I had been, and maybe not many. But I remember those first few times I saw her, I couldn't barely talk. And I was almost whispering because that's all I could say without being out of breath. And, she recognized the psychological effects immediately. From the first moment I went in there, and she says, look, you got PTSD. You were in the thick of it, taking care of people who had COVID, and you were taking care of people who were dying on a daily basis. And then you're right back in the bed, and you're one of those people. So, there's a lot of PTSD involved in that. So, that's still something I deal with. So there's no doubt that's number one. And, and I think a lot of the stories that people read about, hear people talk about, see, and people talks about the anxiety related to it. And I think it's a very complicated answer to answer why that is. It's complicated, but a lot of it is, the psychological part of, this is something that's killed millions of people worldwide. You've had it, and particularly if you've got ongoing symptoms like I do, there's a psychological aspect that goes along with that, taking some medicine does help, but it's just more to, well, you just got some anxiety, make sure you exercise, make sure that you're talking to your therapist, and taking your medications. It just goes a lot deeper than that, and that's where I'm at. Along with millions of other people, that's
well, then still coupled with the fatigue and all those other things.
It's just the whole package.
It is.
It is the whole package.
It is.
It's
and
any of those things by itself is hard. But then when you put all those together, and then again the psychological stuff, and I know that, we've never talked about my stay in the hospital. I know that you always skip over it, and that's all okay. But going for all those things and laying in a hospital bed, and not knowing if you're going to live, you can see why people are having hard times dealing with it. And we were just reading there earlier about the suicide rates for people with long COVID, because it's, not somebody knowing why you're feeling the way and not being able to give you an answer to that. It's
PTSD is very real. It's also real for caregivers too, especially for spouses or significant others whose loved one nearly died, or worse.
Or did
die, worse, yeah. And I just want to make sure that they're not forgotten in all of these, talks that we have, because they're just as important as the patients themselves, because of what they went through in a different way. It's still very, very significant.
Well, like I said, it's almost impossible not to somebody that has not had some kind of effect from COVID, whether it's that themselves, neighbor, friend, family member, loved one, teacher, whoever. Every single body knows a story about COVID, and and things that didn't turn out well.
So I sigh, and my heart starts to beat a little quicker when I have to think about, I have PTSD too. and I'm not trying to water down the term, but I do get anxiety when we're getting ready to go somewhere and I know there's going to be people. I do get anxiety. We do double mask all the time. I advocate, for double masking just to make sure and all those things. And I do want to hear the story. I really do. And I feel like that's one of the reasons that I haven't been able to move on with my progress is I am so afraid that if I let my guard down and start getting things back to normal, I'm afraid that the rug is going to be pulled out from under me. Like, I can't let my guard down. I have to always be on high alert because of how tragic that time was for us. One. It's okay that you don't, and I'm kind of glad you don't. It's okay.
I mean, that was the beginning of being a very, very, very
So we got
sick.
you home, and we got home at 4 a.m. I tucked you in.
I mean, I was happy. I mean,
You were happy to be at your house.
I think we masked up our son and stuff like that so I could say hi. I mean, I had missed Christmas, and we knew that. That was a decision. I missed his 18th birthday. We knew that. That
Our
was
anniversary.
part of the anniversary, and so I just wanted to see. I wanted to see my son, say hi. So yeah, we got here, said hi. Missed my dog. Had my dog, and and that 12 hours or give or take or so, I honestly don't really remember. I mean, I remember that, but after that, I mean, I don't remember.
So I kept checking on you, and I just couldn't comprehend what was going on because I would go in and check on you, you'd be sleeping. And I knew that you hadn't eaten or drank, but I couldn't, I guess it's when somebody else's family, you can see it because I would have seen it right away in one of my patients.
Well, I've told people.
But I couldn't see it.
I've told people over and over again, and I mean, this is the absolute truth. If you talk to anybody that's been in a situation like me, that it's different to being the patient when you're the caregiver. I've learned so much that when I'm able to return back to a nurse, that how I will speak, some of the things that I've done to care for people would absolutely change because it's different. And that's probably part of it is, and it's because you get your emotions involved when it's somebody that you care about is sick. And kind of going back to what we was talking about, with the people that I remember caring for who had died, but it's almost a little inhumane in a sense that you can't get your emotions involved because as a nurse, I've got to be able to make a decision that can affect somebody's dying or staying alive at the drop of a hat. And being emotionally involved could alter that. So that's probably why you just didn't know or see it because
and I think
emotions were involved.
Exactly. And that was, I guess, my way of self-preservating, keeping myself together during a crisis, and it was a crisis. I remember about 11 o'clock that same evening, you said my oxygen, I can't keep my oxygen above 85.
I don't, again, all this is fuzzy. The only thing that I remember was saying, Shane, I can't breathe. I was trying to be a nurse and thinking, okay, if this was somebody else, what would I say? And what I say is, you got to go to the hospital.
You're trying to get you down the stairs.
I don't remember none of that.
And into the truck. And I got you in the truck, and I was in such denial. And you don't remember this, I got us to where you turned off to go to get on the road to the hospital. And I said, check your oxygen again. And you checked it again, and I think it was 90. I'm like, see, all you need to have it is 90 and above. You're fine. Let's go back home. I turned around in the parking lot and started heading back the other way. And you're like, Shannon, I don't think I'm fine. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'll just make the U-turn and go. Let's just go. I'd rather be safe than sorry. And we pulled up, and they took your oxygen. They put you on 4 liters immediately and took you back, and that's the last time I saw you.
Yeah.
Just never been better. Everything's going great, and then everything's not. Well, I'm determined that everything is great, and it's going to get even greater as the days go. And that's part of my mission, is to help others realize that wherever you are, that you can make a day better.
I mean, there's a lot of work to do.
There's a lot of work to do. And 1% better every day is what somebody said. Sometimes even, when I had the fatigue from post-COVID, just willing myself to move a pinky toe to get out of bed. It's like, okay, let's get out of bed. No, it's too much. Okay, just move your leg. Can't do it. Move your foot. Can't do it. Just move your pinky toe. That is literally how I got out of bed. Just from the exhaustion of worrying about you and taking care of you. Not that I don't want you to feel bad. I'm just telling you where I'm coming from now. Never thought about it. I never thought, do I want to do this or not want to do this? No. It was just, let's do it. There wasn't a question. But then after, I'm up 20 pounds and I haven't exercised and, all the things that I did before and I enjoyed and that I kind of not really define myself as, but I define myself as a healthy woman. And I prided myself, being 50 years old and being so darn healthy. Well, here I sit a year later, and I'm not saying COVID was an excuse, but because it happened, it was real. But how I'm choosing to deal with it now that the red alert has, gone away is up to me. So I have to have the courage to let my guard down and start letting things get back to normal, which top priority is my health. If I don't have my health, that's it.
Well,
I don't want to go to the hospital, okay? I'm just being honest.
I mean, that's very true that saying that is the best thing that people can do for themselves right now is to stay healthy if you're healthy, or consider lifestyle changes, whether it changes your diet, exercising, whatever that might be, because you don't want to be in a hospital right now.
So we've got some stuff coming up. That's one of the other reasons why I'm starting the Blossom Show on YouTube, just to follow along in my journey. Join me in my journey back to health as we continue to maneuver through the drudges of COVID.
I don't
want to give it that much power.
Well, the virus is not going.
It's not going to determine who we are, and at all. And that's why we've decided to make COVID our bitch. We forgot to tell that story.
That's it. That's the end of our survival series. Join us next week on Pig Network as we share the great times that we had at our first annual COVID Schmovid #OverIt Empowerment Walk. Also, Tony and I will share our friends' stories of COVID perks. What's a COVID perk though, you ask? Check out Tony's TikTok at TonyDaPig. You'll be so glad you did. See you soon!